Hello, 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 and welcome back to The Voice. Well, in today's voice news, we're going to talk about narcissism and we're going to talk about passion. So, the first thing I'm going to tell you about is we're going to go with passion first. It says, strong and barely controllable emotion, the suffering and death of Jesus, mediation on the passion of Christ. Any powerful or compelling emotion or feeling, as love or hate, a person toward whom feels strong a sexual or desire, a strong or extravagant fondness, enthusiasm or desire, anything like a passion for music, etc. Okay. Then you have narcissism. It says excessive interest in or admiration of oneself and one physical appearance. Selfishness involving a sense of entitlement, lack of empathy, and a need for admiration as characterized a personality type. Self-centeredness arising from failure to distinguish the self from external objects, either in very young babies or as a feature or mental disorder. Then it says 9 symptoms of narcissism: grandiose sense of self-importance, lives a fantasy world that supports their delusion of grandeur, needs constant praise and admiration, sense of entitlement, exploits others without guilt or shame, frequently demeans, intimidates, bullies, or belittles others. Now, there's a distinction between the two. Let me explain that in my terms. A person that's narcissistic is very self-willed, and more driven towards themselves, and they worship themselves, and they think that everything is centered around them. And you can't debate with them, because if you debate with them, they'll twist and turn everything around to themselves because they want to be right about everything. Okay, then you have a passionate person, who's one who's basically driven towards a dream or career or something that they want to have in their life, and they're passionate about it, and they'll have a high drive to complete it, to go towards it and give it all they have because they're passionate towards it. And so there's like I said, a distinction between the two. So some of y'all that are calling people passionate are narcissistic, and the people that you calling narcissistic are passionate. So you got to know the difference between the two, because before you start calling people who are passionate narcissistic, know exactly what it means. And before you start calling people that are narcissistic passionate, know exactly what it means before you do that, because you can be in error calling one the other. Okay, and that was the voice news. Okay, so we're still going to deal with this, but we're going to deal with this in the book of Jonah. I'm going to read. We got quite a bit to read, so I'm going to read this. Just bear with me, and then we're going to show you where he's I feel like in this particular scripture that Jonah was very narcissistic, because he was self-willed, and he didn't care that, I'm going to explain a little bit before I read it. And he didn't care that he was on board with other people's. He was relaxed. He was comfortable in the bottom of the boat while they were roaring and the storm was coming. The wind was blowing and boisterous. Jonah was, asleep. He was asleep in the boat. He was in that boat because of his disobedience to God.